Well, this week there was a harsh awakening as the anime community found out that it is under new management from Oshi No Ko. What's going to happen next? Keep watching to find out. Behold, it's me, the CEO of SAO, the resident PGS Transformers expert as proclaimed by Robert Meyer Burnett, or as most people know me, King Tannic. Hello and welcome to all of my weebs, otakus, anime fans, and imagination connoisseurs to another episode of the Otaku Experience. Special thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, all the great folks at the Burnett Network, and of course you, our viewers, because without you guys, this show would not be possible. All right, guys, I'm going to level with you first. This week has been absolutely terrible. Not like in the sense that I've had a bad week, but in terms of being able to prep and make this show like I normally do, there just hasn't been as much time. We've been in this state. Some of you guys might know it, some of you guys might not. I work for my dad. We work in construction remodeling. We've been in a season where we're moving from winter into that spring, summer area. And so there's a lot more jobs and there's a lot more demand. And so we're kind of getting jobs in place where we're getting our subcontractors things. I'm managing jobs. He's managing jobs as we move into these busier construction seasons. And so everything will be fine next week. But this week, with everything going on, I've been having so many early mornings and so many late nights that it's been so hard to find time to make this. So this is probably going to be a shorter episode of the Otaku Experience, but don't worry, I crammed in absolutely as much as I could. But we won't be talking about absolutely everything that happened this past week. So if there are stories that you still think that we should have talked about, shoot down in the comment section below and I will try to reply to you guys about my quick thoughts on certain stories. With that being said, we're going to move right into the big thing, and that is this. Now, I haven't had a chance to watch it. Like I said, I've been super busy this week, but Oshi No Ko is now out. And like I said in the intro, we're now under new management. We're now under new dominion. We now have a new dictator that we didn't even have a say in electing, bro. They just decided to show up and they're there. And now it seems like everybody wants them there. So Oshi No Ko came out and it's now the highest rated anime on my anime list after one episode. And I know what you're thinking, Israel. Just in the past 11 episodes of the Otaku Experience, we've talked about like 3 anime becoming the highest rated anime of all time. And yeah, you'd be right. But this is different. Because, oh my gosh, I just looked at it and the score just went up. No way. Okay, so Oshi No Ko has now opened up to 9.38 as its average score on my anime list. That puts it at 0.27 points higher than the 2 below it, which are tied for number 2 and 3. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan, the final season. The final chapters, chapter 1, terrible title, whatever. This is mind-blowing. Now, I haven't had a chance to watch this. I knew that this show was going to be big. I knew it was going to be a hit. I knew from, the response that people had to the trailers and how it was going in and how I was just, when we broke down what anime I was going to be watching in this next season, I was super excited for it. I knew that this was going to be a hit. Like, I'll be honest, guys. I try to be humble, generally speaking, as a rule of thumb. I know, can't you tell? But one of the things I pride myself on is that I would say probably 80% of the time, I can guess what the anime of the season is going to be. And I don't mean like we follow every week, the Anitrendz seasonal rankings, the audience votes. I don't mean that. I mean in terms of the score, what has the most impact on social media. Like if you pull open Twitter and you're in the anime community, what anime are you seeing the most in your feed that's seasonally airing? Yada, yada, yada. And I can usually predict that. So obviously, I missed it in fall because fall I did not expect Bocchi to Rock to be that super duper popular. I missed it in winter, so I had a double whammy. But okay, I feel like I've just discredited myself in 2 seconds. But in winter. Of was it last year? Wow. In winter of last year, I was able to predict it was going to be my dress up darling. In the spring of last year, geez, what came out in spring of last year? Was it, hold on, wait, Kaguya. Yeah, obviously, Kaguya. I was able, everyone predicted that, so that wasn't a special thing. Then it came to spring. Okay. Now I missed 2 seasons, but it's okay. But it came to spring. And I think for the most part, I got every anime season in 2021 correct. But when it came to spring for this year, I expected Oshi No Ko to be the anime of the season. Now I expect, and I still expect, that Demon Slayer will be watched by more people by the time that the season's done. It will have more members on my anime list. It'll, when it comes to the Crunchyroll Anime Awards next year, I assume that unless Oshi No Ko pulls a Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I assume that it'll probably, Demon Slayer would be the one to bet on over Oshi No Ko. Not saying that either of them will be anime of the year by the time that Crunchyroll comes out, but generally speaking. And so here's the thing. I like I said, I expected this to be a hit. I expected this to be everyone's favorite anime of the season. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect my timeline to be filled with normies talking about Oshi No Ko. I didn't expect my anime list score to be the highest I've seen the score in a very long time. When was the last time the score was in the 9.3s? It wasn't Bleach. I feel like Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War was like a 9.2 or something. It's been a minute since we've had something take this big of a lead over Full Metal Alchemist. And like I said, let me refresh it again. It went up. Let me see if it went up again. Okay, no, it stayed the same. Okay, it went up from when I was about to record this to now recording this. This is insane to me. Seeing how this score is going, I still think that the Full Metal Alchemist fans, listen, currently there are 145,000 members on my anime list who have logged that they are at least watching Oshi No Ko, or that they are at least, planning to watch it or something like that. With Full Metal Alchemist, it is 3.1 million. So trust me when I say that Oshi No Ko stands no chance at staying at the number 1 spot. Now, does that mean it will go to the number 2 spot? Or maybe it'll go to the number 3 or 4? Whatever. Who knows? All I know is that Full Metal Alchemist has the fan base to stop whatever it is that they don't like. They just have the numbers for it. They're probably right now in all their Reddit threads and all their Discords, guys, we need you to get on my anime list. Bring together the troops, huddle up, team. We're time to go review bomb Oshi No Ko. And then we'll see over the next few weeks. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if starting tomorrow morning, we start seeing a bunch of 1 out of 10 reviews start spiking this thing. I don't know what's happening with this. Like I said, I anticipated that this was going to be the anime of the season to look out for. I did not expect us to be under the rule of Oshi No Ko. Like I woke up. I woke up, but it feels like that. It feels like I woke up and I was in a whole new world. I got home from work and I started, putting together my notes for the show, and everything was Oshi No Ko. I was like, oh no, wait. And so I went on Twitter. Everything was Oshi No Ko. I went on my anime list. I was like, let's see how it's doing. I expected it to maybe be like in the low 9s because, that's where like Spy Family would start, or that's where Attack on Titan usually starts when it starts airing, and then it'll slowly drop. Oshi No Ko is at a 9.3. So 1, I'm excited to watch this. And 2, this is unprecedented. And not necessarily, okay, it's not that it's never happened, but this happens so rarely that I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Anyways, have you seen Oshi No Ko? I feel like a lot of normies are watching it, so I feel like maybe more of you guys have seen Oshi No Ko than most of the other anime we talk about on this show, besides, like Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia or the big shows like that. All right, so this past weekend, something that we probably, just thinking about it, you probably wouldn't think that we would talk about it on the Otaku Experience, but Star Wars Celebration was this past week, and they announced a bunch of stuff. I'll try to stay out of like the general stuff. I'll mention real quick. I was a fan of most of the announcements. I thought that most of the stuff was pretty cool. The one thing I'm probably the least excited for is probably the Dave Filoni movie, simply because it's literally just like a series finale to a bunch of Disney Plus shows. And I'm like, why not just have it be on Disney Plus? Like, I don't know how the box office is going to do with this, where it's like the only buildup you have are Disney Plus shows, and then suddenly you're going to release a movie. Like, I don't know how much it's going to make. I don't know how are they going to explain everything in the movie, whatever. But everything else I was still pretty excited about. Now, one of the things that does fall into our sphere that is Star Wars related is Star Wars Vision. Star Wars Vision Season 1 came out, I believe, in 2021 to great success. It was very loved by people. I loved it. I thought it was great. I didn't love every episode, but I thought when the show hit, it hit. And it was like, wow, Who knew that Star Wars would work this well in anime? I'll tell you who knew. George Lucas knew. Because, I mean, if you know anything about Star Wars, George Lucas based a lot of, I'm forgetting the director's name, based, a lot of Star Wars on, samurai. And I'm forgetting, the director of those really famous samurai films. Oh, it's going to kill me. But anyways, I'm sure you guys are spamming it in the chat. Whatever. But yeah, he Kurosawa. Is that right? Kurosawa? Anyways. Woo! Okay. ADHD, guys. Don't get it. I mean, I guess you don't have control over that. Okay. So, like I said, crazy week. Star Wars Vision Seasons 1, I thought was, or I guess Volume 1 is what they're now calling it. I thought it was pretty good, pretty solid. And so they decided, years ago, after Season 1 was a really big success, they decided that they were going to do Vision Season 2, or Volume 2. Except they weren't going to have it be primarily anime. I believe they still have some anime studios, maybe at least one in there. But they're actually going to start giving it to a bunch of different countries and having a bunch of different cultures of animation put their spin on things. We have things like Aardman, we have African studios, we have tons of different things. I believe it's another 9 studios that are doing this, and I'm very excited. So we saw the trailer, and it looks fantastic. It looks outstanding. They didn't have it, obviously, because it's not 9 anime studios like the first season was, but they didn't have a Japanese dub trailer for it, and I was kind of sad. But I realized, probably only one of the episodes will even have the option to be in a Japanese dub, because everything else is either going to be in a different language or in English. So I guess we'll see. But they had an Aardman one. That was great. It was really cool to see. It's so fun to see, especially since Star Wars Visions, they make it, it's in the DNA of the series. It's not canon. And so you basically have free reign to do whatever the heck you want. And so that gives me excitement, because I'm going in, I'm like, I actually don't know what I'm going to expect. I don't know. Like, they can set it in a random time period where it holds to nothing. Like, there was that one episode in the previous volume where it was about, I believe, like the brother and sister. Bro, if that was canon, like, it would be like, why has this never been mentioned before? This would break the lore, da-da-da-da-da. But since it wasn't canon, they have so much creative freedom to do whatever they want with the Force. They can kind of create their own new rules with things. It's so interesting. And I'm so excited to see what another 9 studios crack at Star Wars is going to be like. It's very exciting to me. And I mean, there's really not much to talk about. I mean, it's not like we can talk about the plot or anything. It was like 9 shorts, in a 2.5 minute trailer. And if you divide that evenly, what is that? 2.5, that's 150 minutes divided by 9. What is that? Like, not a lot of time per thing. You know what I mean? It's like a little more than 10 seconds per thing. So, yeah. But I'm excited for it. I will be reviewing it when it comes out, and I'm very excited for Star Wars Visions Volume 2. I think it's going to be great. All right, before we keep going with the show, I must tell you about the new show coming to the Burn Network, premiering this week on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Architects of Imagination. So Architects of Imagination is from the executive producer Martika Ibarra and producer, VFX artist and host David Johnson, in association with Designing Hollywood Productions and Undertone Effects. And they have teamed up to produce an all-new podcast show dedicated to all things video games and its creators. Here is a preview for Architects of Imagination.
Well, greetings, Imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I am here to tell you about a very exciting new show that drops on the Burn Network on April 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Architects of Imagination, a game developer podcast. Brought to you by the people that brought you Designing Hollywood. Architects of Imagination will introduce you to the people that are behind some of the greatest video games of all time. You'll learn the ins and outs, how they're created, what goes into their creation, how difficult it is from the inside. It's an incredible show. Let's take a look at Architects of Imagination.
Hi, this is David Johnson. My friends call me DJ, and this is Architects of Imagination. I am here with my friend Eben Cook from Naughty Dog. Hey. We are both dressed up in suits right now. We are filming our first episode in Hollywood, California. And just after this, Eben is nominated for a VES award. So we're headed over to the awards gala. Good luck tonight, Eben.
Thanks. Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right. Tune into the episode when it airs. This is DJ from Architects of Imagination.
As you can imagine, I am extremely excited to bring you Architects of Imagination, a game developer podcast, to bring it to you imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. It's another great show, once again, brought to you by the same producers of Designing Hollywood. Check it out. Comment below. Tell us what you think. It's another show you can get only right here on the Burnett Work.
What a great preview, Rob. I'm such a talented man. Also, I think I said 5 p.m. before I announced the preview. It's actually 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Sorry about that. Or Standard Time. Whatever the Pacific Time is, I don't live there. I live in the Central Time, okay? So a little more about the, I almost said the Otaku Express. A little bit about more of the Architects of Imagination podcast. David Johnson was the lead visual effects artist at Activision / Blizzard's Infinity War studio, creator of the Call of Duty franchise, having worked there for 10 years. David has 22 years of computer graphics experience, of which 20 has been dedicated to video games and 15 specialized toward effects. David has shipped 20 plus video games and has contributed to some of the largest names in video game history, including the Call of Duty and Halo franchises. The podcast launches April 15, 2023 on the YouTube channel and on all podcast platforms. I've been talking about it for weeks. I'm super excited to check out this show as someone who wants to get a little bit more into games. But honestly, it's the gameplay element of me. I think I just like to consume stories rather than be a part of the story, if that makes any sense. I think there's a disconnect there where when I watch a movie, I'm enthralled in a story, whereas if I'm playing a game, I guess it's kind of the opposite for a lot of other people. I guess the game is their way into the story, like the gameplay and controlling the characters. For me, it's like, but I want to see the character do what they're going to do. I don't want to have to do that. But maybe this podcast can shine a different light and a different view into gaming that can maybe bring me more into that fold. So I'm very excited to watch it. Hope you guys check it out too. Architects of Imagination premieres on April 15th this week, only on the Burnett Work. All right, guys, it's that time for my favorite segment of the show. Say it with me, guys. The Goofy Woofy anime community. All right, so today we have the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So, and I know, we just keep topping ourselves every single week with stupidity. So we have anime coming out. It's a new series airing this spring called Working for God in a Godless World. And it is now, according to CBR, an early contender for worst animation of 2023. That is crazy. But it's actually not that crazy when you look at it. So if you look at this picture or this video, whatever, this is real. This was in an anime. And it's like, bro, this is like uglier than X-Harm, bro. What the? I don't know what happened. This terrible blend of CGI with the 2D animation. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. This is what we're doing now, guys. I thought we learned from X-Harm, guys. We just had Trigun do CG brilliantly, and we're going to go back to this? Guys, what is going on? This is actually, this is a certified goofy moment, bro. That's what we're going to start doing. That's the new award. This is the certified goofy moment. What the heck is happening in the anime community? All the budget went towards, I don't know what studio made this. All the budget went towards Oshi No Ko. Studio Palette. What the freak did they make? An animation house established in 2018. What have they made? They're not telling me what they made. Is this their first production? Hold on. I have to look into this, guys. I'm sorry. This was not planned, but now I'm interested. I'm invested now. Hang on. Oh, they've done 4 shows. Oh, they did the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated into another world as an aristocrat. Terrible title, really fun anime. And that anime, it's not the greatest looking anime, but it looks fine. What happened? Guys, just stick to 2D animation. Guys, maybe we know how the anime industry is. Maybe they were super behind. That could have been the case. And maybe they were just like, hey, just throw it in Blender, bro. We ain't got time to draw it and do all the details. I would just say, guys, please draw. Please draw the stuff. Don't do this. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I don't think so. All right, guys, and our final big topic of the day or of the week is another, I feel like we do this every week, another Suzume story. And Suzume has now broken more records. So Suzume has now become the 4th highest grossing film anime film of all time. It says this on Crunchyroll. At 256 million, Suzume is now the fourth highest grossing anime film ever, ahead of its release in Western theaters next weekend. And then they compare it to, the film that everybody's going to compare it to, Your Name, which was Shinkai's most popular film. I don't think it's his best film, but it's his most popular. And Your Name is roughly at 380 million domestic or worldwide. According to Crunchyroll. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I'm assuming this isn't fake news, guys. Okay. Sorry. Okay. It's not going to top Your Name. I know I've been wanting it to top Your Name. Looking at the American, since considering that the Western release, I believe, is the only release yet left. And if it's not the only release, it's like the only major release left. Like it's the only one that can really do a big effect on the box office. And so being that it's like 220 or 120 plus million away from Your Name, it's not going to touch it, sadly. Maybe we can bump it up into the top three. I believe the number one is still Demon Slayer. Because Demon Slayer made almost $500 million. I don't know what Jujutsu Kaisen was. Let me actually look that up real quick. Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Here we go. So Jujutsu Kaisen 0 made 166. Okay, so it's already almost done 100 million more than Jujutsu Kaisen. So what's the top one? Or what's the top three? Crunchyroll, you need to update your articles. With your articles, you need to give more information. For when times like this where I'm not prepared. Top grossing anime films of all time. So we have, Demon Slayer. Oh, we have Spirited Away at 395 and Your Name at 382, roughly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Suzume is going to stop. It's parking right at a good number 4. That's okay. It's going to end up at number 4 because it still has 120 million to get to Your Name. It's not going to do that. And then Your Name is like 12 million behind Spirited Away, and Spirited Away is like almost, 100 million, or it's over 100 million behind Demon Slayer. I guess Demon Slayer actually did hit $500 million. Wow. I didn't know that. Okay. So Suzume's sadly not going to do that, but hey, that's nothing to sneeze at. 4th highest grossing anime film of all time. Something we got to give it props for. We'll obviously be talking about the American box office and the American opening weekend for Suzume this coming weekend, as well as we'll be doing a review and a spoiler segment on Suzume next week as well. So be sure to join us for that. I'm so excited. I see it. I guess this show releases on Thursday, so I'm seeing it when you're watching this tonight. For me, it's not tonight because I have to film these in advance, but I'm so excited. I get to see Suzume, bro. Ah! And the last thing we're going to do today, guys, on this very short episode of the Otaku Experience, sorry about that. We'll get back to it next week. We have not the Anitrendz spring rankings, because those just opened this past Sunday, and so they haven't had a chance to be voted in yet. But they have, earlier this week, they announced the winners of the Winter 2023 anime season, according to Anime Trending. And these are usually the awards we keep an eye out for. These are the awards that we usually hold in regard as more prestige than the Crunchyroll awards. And so we had, for favorite ending song, we had Linaria from The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. You'll hear more about this in my seasonal review if you decide to watch that on my main channel. But I thought The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague was kind of middies. I actually don't remember the ending all that much. I don't think I ever watched the ending because I binged it. And so I think I watched the opening once, I watched the ending once, and then I binged the show. And so, I skipped the opening and the ending so that way I could binge the show. But, I don't remember it, but hey, congrats to them. I guess if you know what that is, if you remember the ending, I guess congrats to y'all. I remember the opening, though, from Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. I thought that one was a bop. I thought that was pretty good. It was a pretty chill, like, hey, what's going on? Hey, yo, hey. Much more interesting than the show was. But, okay, then we had favorite opening theme, which was Ars Enseal, I don't know how you pronounce this, by Hanatan, from The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. And so I believe that the ending and now the opening are both immediately locks to be nominated for ending of the year and opening of the year. Once again, I don't remember this opening, because like with Ice Guy. Most of these shows I binged. I waited till the end of the season, not by choice, but just because I was super behind on everything, and I binged everything over the weekend. And so once again, I watched this opening once, never watched it again, and so I'll have to, try to jog my memory on that. But hey, I love this show. This was, I guess it's not a spoiler to say, currently this is my anime of the year, The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. It's the worst title I've ever heard in my entire life, but really, really solid anime. I would check that out. I would recommend it. Then we had favorite supporting female character, which was Mizutsu Gundo from Tomo-chan is a Girl. And the voice actress was Rina Hidaka. And she was a great character. I'm surprised it wasn't like Carol or something from Tomo-chan is a Girl. But hey, congrats to her. I liked her as well. She was one of the, honestly, her character, like in every situation, because she could bounce off of everyone, because everyone else was so much more extravagant than she was, that she was almost like, I guess this is deserved, because she was like the only character that was like kind of different from everybody else. Everybody else is really cartoonish and extravagant because it's a comedy, and then she's the straight man in every bit. And so, yeah, you know what? Congrats over there. So I guess she's immediately a nomination for supporting female character as well. Then we have our first lock for supporting male character nomination, which is Itsuki Akazawa from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, and the voice actor was Taku Yashiro. And I'll be honest, when I saw this, I don't even remember this character. I watched the show. I liked the show. I believe this was the only show I watched weekly this season. That and Tomo-chan is a Girl. I don't remember anything about this man. I'll be 100% with you. And so I'm surprised he won, but I guess they didn't have any other choices. I mean, well, there were characters from Trigun who could have gotten that vote, or from The Magical Revolution who could have gotten that vote. Come on, guys. There's better choices. Whatever. It's fine. Okay. Then we had Coupleship of the Year, and can you guess who that's going to be? Okay. It's Amane Fujimiya and Mai Hiroshina from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. And then it says that this ship has officially put an end to the astonishing and unprecedented 2-season winning streak of the Yuri ships for best seasonal ship title. You heard it here first. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten is homophobic. They're putting an end to their enemy of the people, guys. Okay, no, I'm just kidding, guys. Let's not bring politics into this. It was a joke, maybe a bad joke, but a joke nonetheless. Okay, I subscribe to the South Park frame of mind, which is like you either laugh at everything or you can't laugh at anything. Okay, so obviously they were going to win. Their show was, the highest rated, show of the season for like a while on Anitrendz. So obviously. And then we had favorite female character, which of course is Mai Hiroshina from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, with the voice actress being Monica Iwami. And obviously, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised that she won, because obviously we saw the hints leading up to it. But I guess I'm surprised because if I would have gone in, if you wouldn't have told me that Angel Next Door, rated the awards, or the seasonal or the weekly awards, the weekly rankings every week, I would have been like, oh, it would have been Magical Revolution, right? Like one of them would have gotten, Girl of the Year or Girl of the Season. No, it's freaking Mahiru, which I like Mahiru. But I don't know. I don't know. I just think there's characters with more depth there, with more of a character development. But hey, she's a sweet, nice little safe choice. I don't mind it. She's a sweet girl. It's okay. Then we had favorite male character of the year, which, can you guess the pattern? Guess who it is? Oh, you're right. It's Amane Fujimiya from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. Once again, another safe pick. I would have gone with like Vash or gosh, what are some of the other anime I watched this anime season? I could have gone with anyone from Buddy Daddies, any of the dads there, from High Card maybe. Obviously Trigun. Like, come on, guys. Okay, at least it wasn't Ice Guy. Then we had the seasonal, who won the season. And so we had our fourth place, which was Tomo-chan is a Girl. And obviously all four of these will be immediately nominated for Anime of the Year. And so Tomo-chan is a Girl is one. We have Vinland Saga Season 2, which I'm surprised by it. I'm surprised by this being even allowed, because what if the second season is buns? Like, what happens if the second core doesn't even place on the top 10? What if it's that bad? Like, what happens then? Does it still stay nominated? Or I feel like we should, and this is something that the anime industry does a lot. And I meant to mention this with Oshi No Ko earlier. Everybody is so hasty with their reactions. Everybody just wants to be like, it's this. Like, Oshi No Ko is now the highest rated anime of all time after one episode. I think everybody should have learned. I mean, there's been plenty of examples, but I guess the most recent example would be like Wonder Egg Priority. Wonder Egg Priority, everybody for 3.5 months was like, that's your anime of the year right there. Easy money. Or I guess it was like 6 more months because, 3 months later they did the special because they had production issues. So the final episode was delayed like 3 months. Came out in the summer. Came out probably the most unpopular episode of anime that entire year. Everybody hated it. I loved it personally. All those people are wrong. It's brilliant. I don't know what other ending you expected, but it's fine. But those people, everybody hated it. And by doing that, the score of the anime dropped by a ton, right? And so it's like, how have we not learned that we should not rate anime based on an episode thing? You know what I mean? It's kind of goofy to me. And so I guess this is in the same way. Why are we allowing something to be nominated for the best anime of the year when it's only halfway over? You know what I mean? Like, I don't doubt that the second half of Vinland Saga Season 2 is going to be as great as the first half. I think it's going to be just as great. But we shouldn't assume, you know what I mean? Let's wait until the second season or the second court ends, and then we can like do it for like a wild card or something like that. And then we go into the second place, which currently my anime of the year, anime of the season as well. But it got second place, which I'll take that, was The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. If we were grading titles, it's terrible. It's awful. But I'm glad that it is now nominated for Anime of the Year. Very well deserved. And then we had Anime of the Season, which now makes it your front runner for Anime of the Year. And technically speaking, this now has, I mean, just if you want to go based on the rule of averages, I mean, you have what? 16, Anime of the Year nominations. What anime of the season that aired this season is going to beat Angel Next Door for Anime of the Year if Angel Next Door just beat it in this competition? Why are you doing this? Take the best anime of the season, nominate that for Anime of the Year. Get rid of the other 3. Just take the one. Do that for every season. Now you have 4. Then take a wild card. Heck, maybe take 2. Okay. Then you have 5 to 6 nominations for Anime of the Year that all have never competed with each other before and all have a decent chance at winning. When you have what we usually have, which is like 18 to 20 nominations, we end up with it's like, who did you think was going to win in the in last year's Anime Awards? It was really only 4 choices. It was going to be Bocchi. It was going to be Licorice Recoil. It was going to be Cyberpunk. It was going to be what won in, I forget what won in spring and winter. But regardless, all of those, it may have been Dress Up Darling now that I think about it. Whatever. But those were your front runners. And so the rest, we know they're not going to win because obviously they just lost to the other thing. Okay, think it like this. Okay, let me explain this really simply. Okay. Say you have, it's like this. In the Oscars, we have the Best Picture category. We also have a Best International Feature category. Okay, so in the Best International Feature, you'll have 10 nominees. In the Best Picture category, usually you'll have one of the Best International Features nominated as well for Best Picture. Who do you think is going to win International Feature? I'll give you a hint. It's the one that's going to get nominated for Best Picture. Because if the rest were as good, they would have been nominated. Or if the rest were going to win, they would have been nominated for Best Picture too. Who in their right mind, as much as I love Magical Revolution, and like I said, it's my favorite anime of the year so far, it shouldn't be nominated for Anime of the Year. It shouldn't be. If these are your criteria, no one's going to vote. There's not going to be a massive change of heart by the anime community. You're like, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it should have been Magical Revolution. We'll vote that for Anime of the Year. It's not going to happen. Oshi No Ko is probably going to be this next anime of the season for spring. Demon Slayer is probably going to be in there. What else is airing this season? Dr. Stone might be in there. Tonikawa might be in there. Whatever. Why would you have any of them? And I'm assuming it could not. For all we know, Oshi No Ko could end up being bad every episode after the first episode. But let's just say, based on everything we're seeing so far, Oshi No Ko is probably going to be your anime of the season. Why even nominate the rest to be nominated for anime of the year? I get it. It's just a participation trophy. I get it. Israel, you're thinking about it too much. But no. It's just needless. It's pointless. and I guess maybe as a filmmaker myself, when I was making my documentary, I could tell that even though I loved something and I wanted something to be in that documentary, if it was pointless and it didn't add anything, I had to take it out. You have to take these nominations out. They don't need to be nominated. They don't need to be nominated. Okay? And then we're also going to get, what? After the 16, we're going to get 4 wild cards or like 2 wild cards. So currently, I mean, some people don't even count the wild cards as actually being worth of a nomination. And if that's the case, then this already has a 1 in 4 chance of winning. Angel Next Door. And the rest of these have a 0% chance of winning. There's no way. There's no way they're going to win. So really pointless, really goofy. But hey, those are your anime of the season. It was a good, fun anime season other than all the delays. It'll be fun to see what happens when Nier comes back. I wonder if they'll allow Nier to be nominated for another season, or what they'll do with Mr. Demon King Academy. I guess that's being moved to another season. But, with all the delays, it'll be fun and interesting how they see, if they get nominations, how they'll, go towards that. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. It's a shorter episode. I'm sorry about that, but it's really late. I actually really need to get to bed, and I still have to edit this and send it over to Rob. And so I'm going to have a late night and have another early morning. And so, yeah, cut me some slack, guys. Love you. I'll talk to you guys next week. Check out my main channel. Seasonal review should be coming out later sometime this week. I've had no chance to edit it because it's been super, super busy. But yeah, love you guys. I will see you guys next week, baby.